On January 9, 2007, the iPhone was introduced at the Macworld Convention, and on June 29, 2007, the first iPhone was released. In late 2008, David Hockney started using his iPhone for drawing. The art world would never be the same. David Hockney, born in the United Kingdom in 1937, is a pioneer in the world of digital art, and in particular iPhone and iPad art. He studied at Bradford School of Art, where he received traditional art training, and studied at the Royal College of Art in London. He came to Los Angeles for the first time in the early 1960s and began using acrylic paints and taking Polaroid photographs. He taught art at the University of Iowa and University of Colorado. He then returned to Los Angeles to teach drawing at UCLA and at the University of California, Berkeley. While in California, he became interested in pop art. He then began working extensively with photography and incorporating it into his paintings. In the mid-1980s, Hockney purchased one of the first color copy machines. He used this to create a series of works entitled Handmade Prints. A few years later, he utilized the fax machine, sending entire exhibitions over a fax to be printed out and assembled on arrival. Using the fax was not a method of delivering the art, but a method of creating a different form of art. In 1990, David Hockney attended a 3-day conference on new computer technology. Using the Oasis program for Apple Macintosh, he created his first drawing on computer and printed it on a laser printer. But it wasn't until 2008 that Hockney started producing artwork on the iPhone, and then in 2010 on his iPad. Hockney stated, "I draw flowers every day on my iPhone and send them to my friends, so they get fresh flowers every morning. And my flowers last. Not only can I draw them as if in a little sketchbook, I can also send them to 15 to 20 people who get them that morning when they wake up." As you can tell, Hockney has been a pioneer in creating digital creations for years. He began using this new instrument, the iPhone, to create art that didn't require a pen, pencil, or brush, but only the use of his finger or thumb. The resistance of the paper disappeared. Hockney was mesmerized when he was able to actually see himself drawing by replaying his work, as you see here. This became a type of performance art that Hockney displayed at his exhibits. This creation is Hockney's Me Draw on iPad, which is included in his digital exhibits. As you watch Hockney perform his artwork, you get a sense of how one can utilize the advantages of the medium of the iPhone or iPad and the Brushes app when Hockney prefers. It is simple and yet powerful. This new medium had not only a unique and unorthodox method of drawing techniques, but the ability to make multiple copies that were virtually identical and then send them to many friends in the blink of an eye. Although the creations he sent would be virtually identical to the one he originally composed with just the edge of his thumb, he also realized that each person's device may show subtle differences due to disparity in viewing screens, devices, and chipsets in each device. People would tease him, "We hear you've started drawing on your telephone." And he would tell them, "Well, no, actually, it's just that occasionally I speak on my sketchpad." Hockney states, "I was fascinated by it because I think it's a stunning visual tool." He says, "It took a while to master how to get thicker and thinner lines, transparency and soft edges, but he soon realized that it had great advantages. Being a student of the works and methods of Picasso and Van Gogh," Hockney tells us, "Picasso would have gone mad with this. So would Van Gogh. I don't know an artist who wouldn't, actually." Hockney was excited about the new and different creativity that could be accomplished. With digital art, light was a true advantage. The screen of a device is illuminated, and Hockney realized that light was a real subject in creations on the iPad. Because of this, Hockney chose luminous subjects with colorful motifs. He began carrying around his iPad in his internal coat pocket that was especially created for him for a sketch pad. Here you see some of the first colorful flowers Hockney drew and sent to friends. You can see how the use of his fingers created these lines, and yet a resulting beauty of impressionistic flowers that share easily with the touch of the screen. The iPad has limitations, but also strengths. With digital artwork, the artist does not have the same resistance of paper or canvas and can get a better flow. Watercolor paintings can only hold about 3 layers before the colors begin to combine and get muddy, but with digital art, one can put any color over any other color, just adjust the transparency, and get just the effect they want. With the iPad, one can also rerun their last steps. The vivid colors in this piece of a road near the Salts Mill in Yorkshire show the strength of colors that can be elicited from the medium. Hockney's artwork here almost glows with color. Critics argue that iPad and digitally produced drawings don't qualify as art and that they cannot hide the fact that they were made on an electronic device. Adrian Searle of The Guardian wrote that there is something inescapably dead and bland and gutless about them. Others argue that this is simply a new medium, a different type of art, a change from the old forms. As with any new technique, digital art challenges the dogma of the masters and is often counter to the principles of traditional art. This shows that art is truly in the eye of the artist and the audience. Art can have deep meaning and influence or can simply be visually appealing and adding beauty to a space. This piece by Tiffany Bozick shows the beauty of and life that can be achieved with digital art. The flowers, birds, and butterflies seem to jump off the page with color and life. One would never know this was created with a digital medium. Tiffany Bozick is a San Francisco-based artist who sold her paintings in art galleries. She uses themes inspired by nature and painted in a highly detailed manner with a touch of surrealism using acrylics. Her paintings were in high demand and she was always working with tight deadlines. Apple asked Bozick to try using the iPad Pro with the pencil stylus as part of their Start Something New campaign. Although she initially resisted and felt a bit overwhelmed, she now uses words like fun, liberating, and amazing to describe creating designs on the iPad. Bozick also describes the digital medium as luminescent and wanting to pick subjects that have a glow. She found some of the advantages to be the forgiving nature of the medium. She could instantly erase anything she didn't like and discovered she could produce works in half the time. The artwork by Nomoko benefits from smudgy, rough edges created by painting with the fingers on the iPad Air 2 and the painting app brushes Redux. Using her fingers, there's a perception of movement and light in this work that has a somewhat organic life to it, almost ghostly. British painter Roz Hall states he has not painted traditionally for years. Also using the iPad Air 2, he uses the program Procreate. He likes the time he saves in cleanup and the fact that he can start a project anywhere. He does not have to wait until he is back in his studio. When inspiration strikes, he could begin creating his ideas. Viewing his piece in the mirror, it's hard to believe this is done with digital drawing tools. Digital artist and marketing director Matthew Watkins works some of his pieces in just minutes, and now says he enjoys waiting places such as in a doctor's office or in line at a store or event. Of digital methods, Watkins opined, "Personally, I find painting on the iPhone more immediate and pleasurable than painting on the computer with mouse or pen tablet. It's a small screen, but you get used to it." Classically trained at the Chicago Academy of Fine Arts, Susan Murtaugh worked in advertising art for years and became a beta tester for the Brushes app. She became one of the first finger painters of the iPad era. Here you see her creations Tiger, L'Allegro Peony, and What Are You Looking At?, all showing the great versatility of the medium and the life that digital art can bring to the canvas. Zone Baltar shows that thin lines can be achieved with the iPhone in his many drawings. You see the glow of the street lights, almost hear the clank of the train, and feel the wetness of the rain in his drawings on iPhone. Elephant at the Circus and Cat and Mouse show a whimsical side of what is possible. You can almost hear the elephant thinking, "What am I doing with this silly hat?" as he gives you a sideways glance. And you can feel the soft fur on the mouse and even the face of the cat as he stares, ready to pounce. The digital world opens a much wider market for artists, allowing many more to see their style and perhaps commission works specifically for their purpose. Digital art is here to stay. It will change and evolve as the medium changes and evolves. Artists can create a piece, upload it to their website or social media, where thousands of people can view it, appreciate it, and comment or critique it. David Hockney, an established renowned artist and a pioneer in the world of iPhone and iPad art, is the one to thank for bringing the mastery and innovation of his art to the digital world and combining them for our pleasure, just as you see in these two iPad drawings of Yosemite Valley early on in the iPad drawing art world.